Now is the time.
Forever? Tangent. Old.
Halt.
Hashtag always MGM.
You are approaching the unloading area.
Calm down. AK haters.
But what if it could?
Behold the majesty of the Sistine ceiling.
For the kids.
A salute to all theme parks, but mostly Walt Disney World.
Ha! What a cute ending.
Aloha and
Don't Dillo it.
So this is Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz Community Core. He
Right.
is Nate, and I'm Jeffers, and we are doing a complete ad lib tonight in the vein of Mr. Lenny Burrows, big inspiration for this show. Catch him on the Improviser's Guide Network, circa 2018. I don't know if Lenny Burrows is on the Improviser's Guide Network, guys, but definitely go check that back catalog of Dillo's Diz. It is some really, really good stuff. So we had a big plan to take over the podcast with Theme Park Rob, Nate, and myself. And Rob is having some technical difficulties with hurricane or tropical storm Debbie, so we're adjusting on the fly here. Nate, why don't you introduce yourself for any listeners that aren't familiar with us on the Discord?
Yeah, I'm Nate. I am a longtime Dillo's Diz fan and friend of the show. I've been around since they did the first Christmas extravaganza and was interviewed there. That was pretty much my introduction to the YouTube universe. It was fun. Had a great time and have come to know Jeff and Rob and then Jen and Frank and all the other community core members pretty well over the past couple of years. I'm active on Twitter, talk about Disney and parks and all sorts of other nerdy stuff.
And for those of you who don't know me, I am Jeffers. I am not active on Twitter, even though I'm on Twitter. Pretty much only active in the Discord, and every now and then when I travel to Florida, the Dillos graciously allow me to take over their Instagram account, and that is the only exposure that I have to that. And so that's a little about me. I came to the Dillo Diz community probably in 2019, late 2019, early 2020, I guess. I was a listener for a long time and just got into the old Parks and Monorail's most magical hours and kind of have been hanging around ever since then. So now Nate and I are both part of Dillo's Diz Patreon, which is dillosdiz.com, with membership levels as low as $1 a month. That $1 a month gets you into the Dillo's Diz Patreon. The Discord. It's a $1 Discord, one channel Discord where we talk about everything Disney and have a great time. So we're here tonight and we're going to talk a little Disney, I guess. And so we mentioned that Discord and kind of community core that we're part of there, Nate. So why don't we get talking a little bit about kind of what brought us together last year, our first meeting. Though Nate and I have met in person, and we're about a month away now. I think Jen said it was 33 days away from our next official Dillo Diz community core meetup, also known under the umbrella of Find Frank 450. For those of you who don't know, listening for the first time, Frank is turning 50 this year, and we wanted to get together and celebrate that milestone. So we're traveling down in September and plan on running around Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party together. So yeah, we did it last year and had a great time. So we're all coming back. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, it was a fantastic meetup. It was one of the best times I've had in the parks. And I've gotten to know the 5 or 6 people that have been in the Discord routinely. I guess it's like 8 or 9, and pretty well over the past couple of years. And we got to meet in real life, and it was a lot of fun. And so that helped. But you don't actually need to have that background to go on one of these trips. I went on a meetup where I didn't know anybody pretty much. That was right before COVID, and it was a friend of the show, Jocelyn, had set up a meetup and it was large. It was like 20 or something people, and Jen and Frank were there. People from the Monday Morning Monorail show and a bunch of other folks that were peripheral to the Dillo's universe, but I'd never met them. I'd never met any of these people, and to kind of prepare for that and help my wife out, who didn't know any of these things and had never listened to the podcast before, created a little cheat sheet of like who was in what podcast or group, and a quick little fact about each person. So my wife could chat with them if she ended up sitting next to somebody or was on a ride with someone. She would have something to say to each of the people, and that really actually helped us very much. So that she was sitting next to somebody and she said, "Oh, you're from the Monday Morning Monorail and you used to live in so-and-so and you like this kind of music or something." So one of those little different tidbits served us well in kind of breaking the ice and getting to know people. That's something you could easily do if you're going on one of those meetups. But
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
we didn't need to really do that because we kind of knew each other. And what did you think when you first showed up? And
It's true. Well, it's funny. Like I said, I had listened to the podcast for probably 2 years, and interacted with everyone, and but it's still a very different thing to kind of just show up in person with a bunch of strangers, and then sitting down with your spouse and saying that I think I'm going to book a trip for myself to Florida, where I'm going to fly down on my own and travel on my own to meet a bunch of people that I've never met. Would probably be an interesting conversation to have. Now, I personally had a slightly different experience because I had met, we kind of had a pre-meetup a month or so, or a year, I guess. It was a year before the meetup when we live very close to Oswego, New York, which is where Frank performs at the Sterling Renaissance Festival as Lenny Burroughs. And one year at the weekend he was there, we went down and met Jen and her family, and of course Frank for the first time. So after speaking to them for a couple of years, I kind of had that comfort level that when I was showing up, I would at least know someone that A was going to be there, that we trusted was going to be there, because they showed up at this other event. That's of course my paranoid self thought this is all a big joke. Everyone's playing a trick on me, and I'm going to fly down to Florida and nobody's going to be. That was the ultimate. I mean, that wouldn't. There's worse places to get stuck than Walt Disney World on your own. But paranoid part of me said, this is just a big joke. Everyone is getting me to fly to Florida, saying they're going to meet me, and then they won't be there. But it didn't happen, and we had a great time. We met a bunch of new faces. And I encourage, it's not too late, folks. If you join the Dillo's Community Core Patreon, you too can find out all the details of the rapidly approaching meetup. And book your tickets. Meet us down in Florida. It'll be great.
Yeah, as Jeff said, we're going to be at the Mickey Not So Scary Halloween party on September 13th, Friday the 13th. And we'll be in various parks the days and before and after, just a short little weekend trip. But anybody can come down and say hello and meet Jen and Frank and the rest of the clowns that like to hang out with them.
How you doing, Rob?
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
How much have you seen of this, Rob?
About the last 30 seconds.
Oh,
Right.
That's the best part so far, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're finding our groove. We're finding our groove.
Yep. I've been doing my best Frank impression of glitching and dropping in and out. So,
for all you amateur podcasters out there that have an idea of becoming, doing this for a regular basis, it's not easy. Frank and Jen, they may look like they have a natural ability to make things look spontaneous. probably because it is spontaneous.
Well, we actually did a trial run through, and it was incredible. It was the best show ever, and we should have just recorded that.
We should have just recorded that.
Yep. That would have been amazing.
That would have been perfect.
But we're all here now, and Rob's connection is back up. So
Well, we were just talking about showing up at a meetup with a bunch of people that you don't know, and how that it was great that we knew a little bit about some of the people on there, so we could, feel like we knew something when we showed up. We could talk to them and not be totally awkward like this podcast, but being in a friendly environment because we kind of knew each other. But
don't let this podcast sway your decision making.
Yeah, please.
It's not as
It's going to be awesome. That
It's gonna be
meetup.
awesome.
Nah,
It's gonna be awesome.
Don't worry about it. We're not in charge. So
We're not in charge, that's right.
Obviously, I'm not. So
In that vein, I will say that the one nice thing you have when you do, like if you're going to a meetup like this for the first time, is that you all know that you have a kind of comfort zone topic that you can talk about. Right? I think that's what most people
Exactly,
are really
yeah.
concerned about.
common
right? Is that
interest.
something in common, and you're in the place that is bringing you all together that you all love, and I think that is what made it part of what made it so easy and so enjoyable last year, is that you're in a place with like-minded people all doing the things that you like to do. And I think the thing that I took away from last year's meetup that I most enjoyed was doing things that I didn't normally do that other people enjoyed. And because I'm a big ride guy, and we took a lot of time to visit some of the pubs and bars, and we took time at the Halloween party to watch the shows, which is something, and watch the parade, which honestly is something I would have never done. I would have been like, no wait time for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I'm on my way. Well, everybody's watching the Sanderson sisters, and so I think that's just seeing something that you really, really love through someone else's eyes is worth doing something like this.
Absolutely. I would not have necessarily gone to see the Sanderson's sister show, but one of our group members, Lexi, was a huge fan, and just being there with her, seeing her so excited about the show and knowing the lines that she'd seen it before, and just seeing the smile on her face made it just so much more special. And I really enjoyed the show. I wouldn't have necessarily stuck around for that because, as Jeff said, there's all sorts of other stuff to do during the party. But it was great. It was a lot of fun. And we just kind of had the idea that, hey, we're going to try something new. Let's not necessarily put our expectations on what a trip should be like. Let's see what we can all do together and have a good time. It was kind of going with the flow, I think, is what Rob, you were saying before, was some of the good part about it, that we just we had a plan, but we were also kind of loosey-goosey with it a little bit, so that if we were enjoying something, we could do something else.
Yeah, that was just to reiterate everything. It's the common interest, and I felt like when I was with you all, I mean, I was only able to be there the one day because we had other plans with my family, but I had met everybody but Nate and Lexi. But I still was, because we do this so often, we see each other on here. I personally was very comfortable with everybody. It's like family. Even though we had never met, I feel like everybody was family. And normally I am a big introvert, and I would not have been comfortable doing that with people that I casually know. So just that kind of environment, being around people that you're comfortable with, being around people that enjoy the same things. I mean, we were all there for the same reason. And that to me is the biggest thing that you can take away from any event like that, any meetup or anything.
Yeah, you can also think that if it doesn't work out, you're also you're in one of the best places in the world to just go off and do your own thing. You're there to have a good time, and let's just say you're not enjoying yourself or you're not connecting with the people. You can always say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back to the hotel and go hit the pedals or whatever pool bar you have, or do something else. You should feel like that's a backup for you, because I don't want folks to say, oh, I would never do a meetup because I'd be afraid it wouldn't work. Well, we all were kind of a little hesitant, even though we knew each other, that we'd be able to make this work over 4 or 5 days in person. And so, knowing that you're in Disney World and you could do any multitude of things, it should give you some wiggle room or freedom to think about, okay, I'm going to try this, even if you're not an extrovert. If I've said, several of us, including myself, are kind of introverted. So, yeah, don't let that hold you back, because there's all sorts of stuff to do. You can always just say, hey, this isn't working for me. I'm out, and go do your own thing, or decide you take a break and go take a lap at the pool. There's all sorts of stuff to do. Luckily, we all enjoyed each other's company so much, we couldn't stand leaving. It was pretty sad when it ended.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty special meeting Rob and Lexi. I hadn't talked to them as much online as I had more like text-based talking with those guys than this face-to-face kind of stuff. So I was excited to meet them, and it turned out to be very, very special. One thing that we talked about, which was really cool to do, is doing something you hadn't done before. And Jeff mentioned that we went to a couple of the pubs and stuff. Do you want to talk about our experience at Abracadabra? That was kind of fun.
I think Abracadabra came at a really good time, because it was like the first night of the meetup last year, and I think we were all still feeling each other out. And there was just kind of one moment. Again, it was a place I had never been to. Really liked the vibe. It was really, really, really cool. But there was, I think, one moment. Nate, you could probably describe it as best, because it involves you with Lexi there, where we're still all kind of trying to feel each other out, and it felt like we were kind of some of us, I think, were kind of we're getting a little late. Looking at our watches, is the Skyliner still running? We should probably get going. Why don't you take it from there, Nate? Kind of what happened?
Well, we were having a great time, and one thing that was nice, and I think if you're going to go on a meetup, you should keep this in mind. Not everybody drinks. Not everybody's comfortable in a bar. We had a couple people on our group who didn't drink, which was fine, because each of the Disney bars now have several mocktails that are delicious, cheap, and keep you involved in the fun if you just want to sit there, or just order a tonic and lime and enjoy yourself, just the conversation, because that's what we were doing. We're taking photos of each other. We're talking about different things we enjoy at the parks, what we're looking forward to, and we were kind of getting to know each other a little better. And it was getting late. Some people were saying, "Oh, we gotta head out because we have to do X and Y and Z or whatever." And I was trying to think of, maybe I should have a third beverage. We've been here a while. I like cocktails. I'd never been to Abracadabra. I wanted to try it. I was excited to be there. And before, I was like, well, should I have it? Well, Lexi, who I had just met, said, yeah, you're getting a third beverage, and we're all getting another round. And that became kind of the theme for the week. We were all there for the extra drink.
She said,
and we had a great time. Yeah, sit down. You're having a third beverage. You're not going anywhere.
She said, she's like, what's your third drink? And she's like, it's not a question, right? Like it wasn't an option. She's like,
should I have one? No.
Yeah, what are you getting?
What are you gonna have? Yeah.
And Nate kind of was like, she's like, no, it's not a question. What are you having for your third drink?
And that was great.
That kind of broke to me anyway. That was the moment that kind of broke the ice. Everybody got a good laugh out of that. And,
right. Yeah, and it was a lot of fun, and we, we're having an amazing time, up until that point. But that's what kind of turned it into a really special event. Everybody was laughing and enjoying each other's company. And yeah, it was the first night, and that was our late night event. But we did several things before that too, and I think a key for these meetups is having hosts or guides or the person organizing it be kind of extroverted and feeling okay talking to people and doing some out of the ordinary things just to get people excited to be there. And Jen and Frank definitely did that. We started off after having just met each other at Pop Century. We went to Beaches and Cream for dinner, and then Jen and Frank introduced us to some of their secret behind the scenes favorites at the different at the resort there. I don't know if Jeff, do you want to talk about Beach Club? Do you want to talk about the secret staircase?
Well, we can't say too much about the secret staircase because it's a secret.
That's true. That's true.
But
and
one of the benefits of coming to the meetup, and you never know what these benefits are going to be, are special behind the scenes looks and inside information that who knows what the future will bring with the next one. Who knows what Frank and Jen have in store for.
I was shocked that they did one thing the first night. I swore that, okay, he's saying he's going to do this, but he's not going to do this. This is just got to be ridiculous. And he did it. Frank did it. It's pretty funny. It was memorable. We all loved it. And if you too come to the Find Frank for 50 to meet up, he may do it again. So, yeah,
it might be a group event.
That's right.
Yeah. Now that we all kind of know about it, we might all join in. It'd be fun. So come on down there. But as Jeff was saying before, that last time was sort of like, let's get to know each other and meet up for the first time. This year we actually have a big plan, sort of. As he was saying, it's Frank's 50th birthday, and we were saying that there should be kind of a uniting theme to being there, and someone came up with the idea of scavenger hunt. You have to find Frank in each of the parks, and we came up with the name Find Frank for 50, and that's sort of the theme for the weekend. I don't actually know if they're going to do that. There hasn't been any mention of the actual finding of Frank. It's just the name at this point.
I think the concern was. I think the concern was as the birthday rapidly approaches and the days tick down closer and closer and closer, that Frank would disappear, like literally disappear, to not want to face this inevitability of becoming 50 years old. And we had to get him to a spot that we'd be able to find him. And I think that's Walt Disney World. Now he's still going to try to get away, I think, but it's going to be, it's going to be our job to keep him on track and keep him, keep him there. Find Frank. Yeah. Where's Frank? Where'd he go?
Exactly. We were all
that's how I interpret it anyway.
Yeah, we were worried that they weren't going to show up for the last meetup because, as
that's
you know,
true.
If you're a fan of the show, they kind of fly by the seat of the pants. And we said, okay, they set up this meetup, but are they actually going to be there? And they showed up, thankfully.
I feel like we've got them nailed down this year.
Yes, they'll be there.
I mean, if we don't, Angela Dahlgren definitely does. So
yes,
yeah.
Check out last week's podcast to hear all about one of the newest. I hope it's last week's. To hear about one of the newer attendees for the meetup and all the exciting things that she has forced the Dillos to do, including coming up with the idea for the costume before we actually leave.
Yeah, it was episode 345 if you need to go back.
Yes. Angela Dahlgren will be joining Jen, and Jeff's going to get his Magical Mommy Monday shirt signed.
That's right. The number one fan of the Magical Mommy Monday podcast, returning fall of 2024. I'm fairly confident saying that. Jen?
We have to make them record at least a TikTok together.
it could probably be like a quick, live, not live, but live recording from Petals Pool Bar, perhaps with Angela and Jen for maybe just a teaser trailer for the upcoming season of Magical Mommy Mondays podcast. But yeah, so that's what we had to look forward to for this coming meetup. We had some other plans for the podcast tonight. I think maybe get a little bit closer into our comfort zone here, just talking about some of our favorite things in all the parks. And Rob, why don't you go first on this one? You want to do the parks, favorite parks, and then we'll finish up with the magical moments at the end?
Yeah, that sounds good. My first experience with Walt Disney World was in 1977. And obviously the only park here was Magic Kingdom. That park holds something near and dear to me. I came down with my grandmother and my cousin, and I don't remember a whole lot about it. We came down like the day after Christmas. I remember that, and it stuck with me, just the fact that I was able to be here. Part of me always wanted to get back, and I was able to come back once or twice before, I guess, 2014. Yeah, 2014. My wife and my son and my stepdaughter came down, and I had always had a natural love for Walt Disney. I mean, I grew up watching Walt Disney World, Magical World of Disney. Is that what it was called on Sunday nights? Heck, that might even be before your time. But Magic Kingdom has always been special to me. The Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, or Caribbean, however you want to pronounce it. Carousel of Progress. That probably could be, I want to say it's my favorite, but I actually got a feeling that I would have to ask for special dispensation to be allowed to have 3 picks. Just the Carousel of Progress, because Walt actually that was one of the last things that he actually worked on. One of the last things that he actually had his hands on that is still in the park in operation. So there's something special about that attraction. And like I said, who's not going to love Haunted Mansion or Pirate, the Enchanted Tiki Room, the whole park? There's not anything that I wouldn't enjoy. Space Mountain's getting a little rough for me. The teacups, no, but yeah, Magic Kingdom has always been very near and dear to my heart.
So we'll play one of those games that the Dillos love, is when we make them choose something. So if you were to take a first timer to the Magic Kingdom and you had to show them one thing, and you say, we can only pop in for 5 minutes, we're going to do one thing, what would you take them to do? Say, and this is why I love this place.
Honestly, I would say Pirates. I mean, there's some nostalgia there. It's in the original park of Disneyland. I mean, everybody's heard about Pirate, and I think that's where I would take. I mean, there is so much, and I say that, and something else pops into my head. There are so many people had their hands on that, and that would be something that I would want to take somebody to. Because it's my favorite.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a really good one.
Absolutely.
It's the ultimate dark ride. It's an original. It's it's a good long ride, and it's like this is what they do best, and this is why we love this place. We'll keep going around the horn. Do it the way we like.
Okay.
You can go. Yeah, want to go ahead and go next there, Nate.
Well, if we're sticking with Magic Kingdom, my favorite is it's Space Mountain. That was what I was blown away when I first went to Magic Kingdom when I was a kid. I loved the Pirates ride. It was just amazing, and that was like I got 2 souvenirs. I got the storybook of the Pirates of the Caribbean and one of those flintlock guns, those long guns that I guess don't sell anymore. And the Haunted Mansion was just amazing to me too. But I just fell in love with Space Mountain. That seemed to be what a theme park kind of should be to me. It was a thrill ride. It was exciting, and at the time, it had when you left the ride, you got on that little revolving walkway, moving walkway out of the ride, and there were all these little tableaus on the side about different futuristic planets and cities, and I thought that was so neat when I was a kid. And I love the music. When you're waiting in line for the ride, you hear that little
space agey,
space agey. Yeah, I thought that was just the coolest thing, and that's something that I have to do every time I go back to the park. I love it. I will always do Haunted Mansion if I can, but I seem to hit Space Mountain all the time. Pirates has lost a little bit of its luster with me when they added the Johnny Depp stuff. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but I just didn't think that the ride needed that. And it's not as, coherent to me. It's my favorite. But if I had to pick one thing that I would take somebody to, if I could only take them to one ride, I think it would be Haunted Mansion, because that's sort of the all-around Disney experience, because you have now it has interactive elements in the queue leading up to it. There's that coffin where you can touch musical instruments. There's the funny tombstones that have different puns and jokes in them. And then you have an amazing pre-show, just incredible pre-show. I love the cast members. They have great, memorable costumes. So everything leading up to the attraction, till you get on the Doom Buggy, is great. And it's what Disney does best. And then you get in the Doom Buggy, and you're taken to another world. Those effects, although most of them are old school, are still mesmerizing to this day. And there's something for everybody kind of in the ride. There's a jokey humor side, there's a scary side a little bit, and there's even some kind of little bit of a surprise where you, in that turn and fall back segment of the ride where you're falling into the graveyard, is really, really cool. And even as you're leaving the ride, you're going to take a ghost home with you. I thought that was just fantastic. I love that ride, and the whole experience from start to finish, I think is done so well. The music, you come out of there singing that song to yourself, even if you don't know the lyrics, you're humming it. I just love it. So yeah, that's what I would take somebody if I had to.
Well, my if we're going to talk favorite park period, then again, we'll stick with the Magic Kingdom, because that's my favorite park by far, is the Magic Kingdom. And at the Magic Kingdom, would be my favorite ride at the Magic Kingdom anyway, would be Big Thunder Mountain, which is one that nobody seems to have mentioned, which is good. Get my own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great ride. It's different whether you're riding it at night or whether you're riding it during the day. It's got two separate tracks, which are a little bit different, probably. I can't tell the difference, but I'm sure they're different. Yeah, night or day, fireworks view if you are lucky enough to pull that off. I get on that ride and I just I laugh, right? It's just it's so much fun. It's not too intense. So if you're taking somebody on a coaster that's a little bit nervous about roller coasters, there's no loops and there's no there's not even really any height to it for the most part, really, I guess. And I guess that would be if I had one ride that I had to take them on to try to sell. I would go with the thrill aspect and try to get them to just laugh and have a good time. So that's my pick.
Do you prefer going on that ride at night or during the day? I went on it at night for the first time about 2 years ago, and so I've been on it 20 times or something in the day, and I never went on it at night, and I did not realize that the There's different effects at night.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's way better at night, but it's still a great ride during the day. Obviously, I love it, but yeah. So if I could only ride it once, and they said, pick day or night, nighttime it would be.
Yeah, I don't think I've done it night. I'm almost sure, although my wife might correct me, but that's interesting. So I'm definitely gonna have to try that out. I mean,
Yeah, it's in the segment where you're going by the houses, where you're going through the little town. That's completely different at night. It's amazing. Yeah, I didn't even know that until a couple years ago, because my family never really stayed late at night. They like to leave the park before it got crowded. So
we'll make sure Angela puts it on the list for the Halloween party.
Let's talk about Epcot, because that was my favorite when I was younger. It was just so amazing to me. It was the second park, so it was brand new, kind of. I went the year after it opened, so I wasn't there the first year. And I just was enthralled. I loved all the edutainment rides. I thought it was amazing that they were able to do something semi, educational, but yet make it fun and interesting. And then that was just the front part of the park. And then you had this whole World Showcase in the back. And I just, when I was younger, and I said, oh, this is really a lot of fun. And my dad's like, well, let's go to the Mexico. It's like, well, what are you talking about? And we turned a corner and there's a, huge Mayan temple. It blew my mind. And I was always fascinated with Japan. And so when we got to that pavilion, I just didn't want to leave. So that was my park, my favorite one, for quite a while. It's a different park now, and it doesn't have the same kind of pull for me, but I still love going there, and I still feel that it's like the park I feel most comfortable in. My favorite ride there is Spaceship Earth. That, I think, is the epitome of what Epcot was and could be. And I know that it needs to be updated. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they change in it, but I just, please don't take away. I mean, I don't want to see them make it into something with, like, I don't know, anxiety popping up and going, hey, aren't you sad that the Alexandria Library burned down? Oh, that's terrible. I'd get up and walk off. I would just get up and take that animatronic.
Talk about anxiety.
Oh my. So
yeah, please don't do that. But you can update it. Just keep it as something non-IP based, because that's kind of what Epcot was.
For all the Imagineers at Disney listening tonight, or whenever this episode drops,
and I know you really care what
please do not put Inside Out into the.
They want to get butts and seats. I understand. They want people to be happy with their kids in there. That's great.
Just make it into like a big sphere, like that thing in Las Vegas, just on the inside. Like they could just take everything.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Oh,
D23. If it gets announced at D23 this weekend, you heard it here first. The Walt Disney World Sphere. They'll just completely rename it.
It's all about storytelling. It's the sphere.
Storytelling is our superpower.
You talk about Dillo's anxiety. That will.
There will be riots. So not my idea. Not my idea. Change my mind.
What's your favorite ride in that park, Rob?
Probably same thing. Spaceship Earth. Yeah, Spaceship Earth. I am more about the smells, like when you're going through room burning, and I look forward to that part. Maybe because I was a firefighter, and not that I enjoyed smelling things burning. I'm just so accustomed to it, and it brings back a lot of memories. And I know that's a weird reason to enjoy it, but I look forward to that. We've got a warmer in the house. I got one by my desk, and that's some of the wax melts that I have is room burning, and I put that in, and I'll usually get asked about 20 minutes after turning it on. It's like, do you smell that smoke? Yes, I do. So, yeah, Spaceship Earth is is considered a top tier for me. I know they have Cosmic Rewind, Guardians, and which is a fun ride, and Test Track, and whatever iteration it's going to be. Soarin', there are so many there, but Spaceship Earth is, I mean, it's right at the front, and the wait, I mean, it's a continuous load, just like Haunted Mansion. So your wait time, you might see people lined up outside of the queue, but your wait time's going to be 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. You know, it can say 35, but if you wait more than 20, it's because something has happened with the attraction and it stopped running for whatever. But yeah, I hope they don't do anything with it personally. I know they did some updates. What was that? 8-10 years ago now. Time has just got away from me.
It's sort of like, hey, we're all humanity, we're all together, and that's sort of what theme parks do. They bring us all together to enjoy something, and that ride seems to be the epitome of that for me. And so, Jeff, I'm sure the Canadian Pavilion is your favorite.
You know, up until pretty much this last trip that I went on, I didn't spend any time in the pavilion. That's, I know, sounds like sacrilege that I never spent anything, because I had a great time. In April, I went on a trip with my brother, and it was his like lifelong dream. And he's been going to Disney for years, but he's always taken his family with him. And he's always heard about drinking around the world. And he's like, we got to go on a brother's trip. We got to do the drinking around the world. And, he found flights that were cheap, and he found a hotel with All-Star Sports that was cheap, $65 each, right? When you break between two. And I'm like, how could I say no? Why would I say no? But, so we did our drinking around the world, and I spent more time in just wandering around the Epcot pavilions, and it was fantastic. I love it. I will do it. We're going back in December with my wife, and I'm going to share that experience with her as well. All the yummy food and all the yummy drinks that we're going to enjoy. But going back to Epcot, it was like when I was a kid. We went for the first time in the 90s, and I was 12, 13, along that age. And here in Canada, we have this place called Cypress Gardens, and it's like, from my foggy memory of childhood, it's what it sounds like. It's a bunch of gardens, plants. I think there's like miniature train sets and things like that there. And I walked into Epcot as a 10, 11, 12-year-old, and I saw planters and beautiful gardens, and it wasn't my thing. I always had this idea, and the only thing that from Epcot in my childhood that I remembered that I didn't say, this place is completely boring, because I only went twice when I was a kid, was the original Journey into Imagination, which was, anybody that went through it knows how good it was. Yeah. And I remember looking so forward to going back when we went on our honeymoon with my wife, and I went on our honeymoon, and saying to her, I'm like, I remember this from when I was a kid, and it was fascinating, and I just absolutely loved it. And of course, we got the version that exists today, and I spent so much time on our honeymoon. I wasn't into podcasts, Disney research, and all that stuff. I didn't know anything about I just assumed the parks were going to be exactly the same as they were when I was a kid, and I spent so long questioning my memory of this fantastical ride that years later, when I started listening to podcasts, 5 or 6, hearing about what they did to Journey into Imagination, what they did to Journey into Imagination, what they did to Journey into Imagination, and so I just that's my childhood. Kind of jumping around here a little bit, but my childhood was like Epcot's the boring park, except for, and of course now I'm switching, and I loved our last trip, journeying around the World Showcase and enjoying was the Flower. Yeah, it was Flower and Garden, I guess, which is ironic. When my brother and I were there, and we had a great time. But it will not be a clean sweep for the best ride in Epcot, unfortunately, because the best ride in Epcot is probably the best ride at Walt Disney World, in my opinion. Not my favorite ride, but the best ride, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And it's just, there's going to be, as we go from park to park to park, for me personally, there's going to be like a common thread of just a ride that I let loose and I laugh and scream and just have a great time on. And Cosmic Rewind has the multiple songs. It's a little bit different experience every time, and it's just so much fun. And it's the only ride that I don't mind the individual lightning lane on, but I'll gladly pay to pick my time to go and to skip the line. I love that ride so much. I wish it had a standby queue just so we could, it would be one that I wouldn't mind waiting for, and would try to ride over and over and over, much like Lewis with Expedition Everest. But
Right.
so that's my Epcot take, my Epcot ride. Sorry, Spaceship Earth. Please do not get rethemed to the Sphere.
Okay, what about always MGM?
The Dillo's the Dillo's favorite park? Maybe Jen would say Epcot, but I love going to MGM. And my favorite ride there. This is my favorite ride at Walt Disney World. Again, the ride I can jump on and just let loose and scream and have a good time. It's Tower Terror, and followed closely by Rock and Roller Coaster. But Tower Terror, again, I just have a connection from my last trip as a teenager when my cousin and I went, and 17, I think, at the time. And it was, in the days before crazy, or maybe it was just we were lucky to be there at a lower crowd time, but we could ride it just over and over and over again. You just kept getting in line, 10-minute wait, 15-minute wait. You could just do it. And we spent, my parents let us loose in the park, or our parents let us loose in the park. And we just spent, not the entire day riding Tower Terror, but I remember it had to be 4, 5, 6 times in a row, just over and over and over. And it's like, I always say that's like one of the trips that locked me into like Disney fandom. And that's what, made me really push hard for Walt Disney World on our honeymoon. And that's the second trip that I was totally sold on. But it's, I've always say it's not the best ride, but it's my favorite ride at Walt Disney World. And that's,
It's
of course, located at always MGM.
Feels like I'm jumping on everybody's bandwagon here, but Tower of Terror is in my notes. Tower of Terror, and I got a circle
Prove
around.
it. No, just kidding.
That ride is so amazing, and it's different every time. I mean, yes, of course, you're still being pulled up and pulled down, which, spoiler alert, you are not falling, you are being pulled down. Just that not a sensation, when you come out of your seat, it makes me laugh and every time. And I think I might enjoy more listening to everybody around me when they're screaming, or if I can see them, watching the expressions on people around me, especially the people that you can tell it's their first time. Oh, it's just that is enjoyable for me. I usually have a cap on or something, so I'll sit there and I'll just let the hat sit on my lap, and while we're falling, the hat's floating up, and it just, I don't know, I love having fun on that, and yeah, that is an enjoyable ride. That is something that, if it was possible to ride back to back or ride several times, that would definitely be something.
And that's another one.
Yeah,
another one where they've done everything right. Like it's got a great queue, it's got a great overall theme. The look of it's perfect. Even the gift shop is cool. Aside from the fact that it's a fairly terrifying ride, that would be the ride. We didn't really talk about that at Epcot, but that would be the ride that if you took one person on one ride at the park, that would be my pick for it too. But of course, might not suit everyone's. There would be some people that just would see it and be out just watching it happen, right? That nope. And even that's part of the experience, right?
Yeah, we had the whole group when we were all sitting. I think we were all on the front row, and it's just, when I see that photo, it makes me smile, and two, I laugh still because just the expression on some people's face. Jen, I'm talking about you. It was such a good time. I hope we can recreate that. I hope that wasn't lightning in a bottle for us. I'm looking forward to it again in 1 month and 3 days, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty close. I think Nate will probably have a lot to say about Galaxy's Edge because he's a big Star Wars guy.
I am, but it's not my favorite ride. It's probably Star Tours, actually. Yeah, I love Galaxy's Edge. It was fantastic. I love being there, but Star Tours is actually my favorite because I actually, feel like I'm part of the universe a little bit more than on Rise of the Resistance. I like Rise of the Resistance, but you could be the spy. You're sitting in Star Tours. You're like have R2 flying you, and it was my first Star Wars ride when I was a little kid. And I like being in the queue, and you see the AT-AT, and you're walking in to the spaceport, and you see all the planets up on the screen. And that was just so amazing to me. It just stuck with me. And I judge all the rides based on that. And I like the fact that it changes, and you see the different eras. It's just fantastic. And then you walk right out into a cool gift shop. So yeah, it's a great Disney experience. I love Galaxy's Edge, but that is my favorite Star Wars ride, and it's my favorite ride in that park. Tower Terror is amazing. There's so much to do in that park. I love it, but Star Tour is my favorite.
So I guess that's it. That's all the parks.
For this show, yes.
It's the top 3 chronologically.
Oh wait, sorry, Lewis. No.
We're running kind of long on
We
time
have
here.
to do this for Lewis.
I guess.
Ride is at Animal Kingdom.
That's right. The long-running shtick from Dillo's Diz, AK Hate Us, which I don't believe it. Hate it. But, we're going to find out. We'll make it to AK at some point during the meetup, I think. And, we'll get photographic evidence that it happened and they were there. Maybe we should put like a stopwatch, from the time we tap in, right? How long can we keep the Dillos?
Keep the Dillos at AK.
At AK, and that'll be our. We'll do one of those boards where you pick a time, and we'll put some money down, and or it's gambling illegal down there, so we won't put any money down. But yeah, just it's an interesting idea. Put that one on the
simulator.
Talk to Angela about that. She'll get that organized.
Yeah, we got to keep them there for as much time as possible. And
can we get them on everything that's open at the Animal Kingdom in one visit?
No.
I think it'll be.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not sure we'll be able to get Jen on Flight of Passage. I just
Really?
don't
Okay.
think- Yeah,
Is it bad for motion sickness?
It affects my wife pretty bad. Yeah.
She's gonna have those glasses though.
Does she not? Does she do Everest at all? Probably not. I don't know.
Did I say Everest? I meant this. I thought I
She
said.
said, you said Flight of Passage.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, but she has
I thought
mentioned.
maybe I was thinking about Everest and Lewis, and I thought maybe I had said that.
No. Yeah. It is possible that we could get her on that. I don't know. It'd be pretty funny if we could.
All right, we'll narrow it. We'll say one of them. We'll get at least one of them on each attraction at Walt Disney World, or no, Walt Disney, at Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. I love that park, though. I mean, it does get ragged on the show, but it's just so much fun. I don't know. I just like walking around even in the little zoo type areas and seeing the different animals, and it's a lot of fun to be had. But I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea.
It's funny. I remember looking through some old emails. I'm one of those crazy people that keeps all his emails for forever. And I was looking through my old Disney emails, talking to my friend Samantha about a previous trip, our honeymoon trip, actually. And in the email, it said something along the lines of, "Yeah, we showed up to Animal Kingdom, we rode Everest, we walked around, and left."
Yeah.
And every time I think about that email, I think about it. I'm like, yeah, that's. I know why I get along with the Dillo so well. Is that I feel that. So I get this will be with Animal Kingdom this time around. Will be my not so scary. See it through somebody else's eyes experience. I'm gonna try to see the Animal Kingdom through somebody else's eyes because I would be totally happy for my Animal Kingdom day to just go Expedition Everest Nomad Lounge, and I know it sounds like we're gonna have to cut all this. People are gonna send hate mail, but yeah, that's enough. That's enough for me.
Do the safari?
That's enough for me.
Why?
I do not. I mean, we do the safari, but for the kids. I just
not for the content. It's for the kids.
it's I don't know. It's not for me.
Man, that's a whole day park for us. My family, we rope drop Dawa Bar. If that gives you any idea of how we attack this park, but
I don't even know where that
Tusker.
is.
Oh, it's the bar outside of Tusker House, and I will take you there because it has a delicious African margarita. They call it an African margarita. It's got really good stuff in it, and all great food at Tusker House. There's the Dole Whip that you can't get anywhere else. It's only found in Animal Kingdom. That's a little known fact. You can't get Dole Whip anywhere else. And if you get it there, you can get a little rum added to it. It's delicious. And the rides are fun too.
The ride is fun too.
There's all sorts of fun rides. And I'm very upset though that Primeval Whirl is no longer in the park. That was I actually enjoyed it. I liked that it was cheesy, and I like to kind of make fun of it. And Dino World probably will no longer be there. It's going to be some kind of Indiana Jones maybe thing or Zootopia. So you should try to get in and see Dino Land in the next couple of days because it's going to be totally different in a year.
Primeval World was the one that was like the back in time dinosaur-y, not dinosaur,
Right.
obviously, but it was like the kind of roller coaster you're in like a little pod, right?
Yeah,
And
it's called like a mouse trap ride or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
And
they have
I
it
remember-
every carnival.
Well, that's the thing is I remember riding it and thinking like this is exactly like a ride at Canada's Wonderland that was called, or it may still be there. I haven't been to Canada's Wonderland in a long time. Called the Bug, and like just like this deja vu. And like I've always wanted to like figure out if those were the same coaster because I had heard that Primeval Whirl was just kind of like an off-the-shelf coaster that other parks had, and I did love that. That was a lot of fun, and but I suspect it wasn't one of the reasons why that met its demise was the company went out of business and they couldn't get repair parts or something along those lines. That was, I don't know, maybe I'm making that up totally, but if that's the case,
I've actually been physically hurt on.
Oh dear.
You get whipped around it, and I wasn't really paying attention. My first ride, and I hit the bar in my head pretty hard. But yeah, I thought it was still fun. It was just such a dumb ride, and that it was in the park at all was funny to me.
Yeah, I love that ride. That was another one on the honeymoon. We rode that over and over and over again because it was just so much fun, and yeah, we did that. And Everest and left.
Everest is a terrible roller coaster. I don't think anyone should ride it, and Lewis doesn't know what he's talking
I certainly shouldn't ride it 56 times. Is it 56 or 63?
It's a fantastic
57?
coaster.
50.
It's
Yeah,
50.
and our
It's in the
friend-
high 50s.
Lewis, Disney Pick a Day on Twitter and various other platforms, loves that coaster. Just loves it. And he's gone on it so many times in a row. It's just, I think he probably holds the record.
I've never asked him like how long that took because the ride's got to be 4 minutes long, right? So 50. I'm not doing math. But just the ride time had to be hours, and then your queue time. That's single rider you can get on real quick. But he must have spent a good part of a day just over and over and over on.
Oh, for that many circuits on it, you had to be there the whole day.
Yeah.
Had to be the whole day.
Now, do you think one of those hair bands that's at the top is from Lewis? Did he add his little?
That's a good question. That's another good. Only we had a special guest on the program to ask him like if he did it. How do you feel about the hairband?
Don't like it.
Flinging. I don't like it either. I think it messes up. What's the word? It junkifies. I don't know what the right word would be, but come on, somebody better with words. What do you think it?
I don't think
clutters.
we can say that.
Clutters it up. Yeah, clutter. I'll go with clutters. It just seems like, and I get people have fun different ways.
Some people, I've heard some people say that it's like a tradition now, and that it's part of the
You can
ride.
look past
but,
it because of its long-standing.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
Yeah.
But
That's just us, though. I mean,
That's just us.
obviously-
So you guys do whatever you want to
obviously,
do.
a few
Well, don't do
10,000,
whatever you want.
a couple thousand people think it's okay.
yes, absolutely. Well, this was a.
We can't end on hairbands. Can't end.
Hair bands.
Come on,
Well, if we're gonna wrap up,
Are we talking about Cinderella or
it's
White Snake? Hair bands.
Hair bands? So, what are we gonna get the Dillos to do, really? And Animal Kingdom, is there something we can get them to do that they wouldn't do normally?
or they haven't done.
Day.
Yeah, yes.
Say,
Well, have they gone to Nomad Lounge?
yeah, they've.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that we could at least get them to do. They might enjoy the Lion King thing. I mean, it's live entertainment. Frank might like that.
I still like my everything idea. Try to get them on.
Yeah,
To-
if we
to
could do
try
that, that'd be
everything.
great.
One of them,
But then-
at least a Dillo. I mean, we've got
Yes,
time.
Exactly. But then we have to go to the Mickey Mouse Not So Scary that day, right?
Like I said, we got time.
Yeah. Okay.
To do
All right.
everything.
You.
Okay.
Fine.
We're rope dropping Animal Kingdom.
Too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
Too easy.
But yeah, so we are all looking forward to the meetup 30 some odd days away. And we should, for all the listeners who are left, we should remind them that the driving force of this meetup is, again, Frank's 50th birthday. And, you know, those of you know that the Dillos have a P.O. box, and I had it pulled up here, and now I'm looking for it. So you guys,
I got it.
You guys vamp for me. Oh, perfect. So we got a month to get as many cards in the mail to wish Frank a happy 50th birthday. The bigger the 50, the better.
Yep. The address
is,
for that is Dillo's Diz, 55 Gerard Street, Post Office Box 987, Huntington, New York, 11743.
So stamp it with your U.S. postage or international postage if it's coming from Canada, or letters from all over the world would be. We've got time, folks. We've got time to get letters from all over the world to Frank for his 50th birthday.
Jen gets over there. She checks it often, and
That's right.
So, yeah.
And speaking of Jen, in a totally uncharacteristic move, she reminded us to promote stuff. She said that we should mention our social media handles before we end this, particularly because Jeff is a major TikTok star. You can see him dance.
I don't even know what
France.
I don't know what my TikTok handle is. I don't know what it is. I would say find me in the Patreon.
Sure.
It's only $1 a month.
Yeah.
Starting at $1.
I'm Nathaniel Hardy on Twitter. And Rob, where are you?
I'm Theme Park Rob, and you can find me on all the socials. Theme Park Rob.
You can find me at Schmelty. Why it's at Schmelty, I have no idea. That's it's at SCHM. So that's at SCH. This is why I don't do this. SCHMELTY. That's on the Twitter. That's the only thing I'm really on. Instagram, I don't know what it is. You'll just, I'll comment on pretty much anything Dillo's does. So just click on Burkett Jeff for Jeff Burkett, and that's me. But you don't have to.
But yeah.
And tell Jen and Frank how much you enjoyed this episode. We can have more of us. It's
I can't wait for the outtakes.
Oh, God.
There'll probably be a few. We covered joining us at joining the Patreon. Yeah. And join them at DillosDizResort.com. The Patreon membership as low as $1. That'll give you access also to the one channel Discord, which we're trying to take over and get some sub channels or maybe an extra channel. I don't know.
And there are all sorts of fun people on there. So not us, but all those other people will be fun for you to come join and talk to.
Yes,
And
do not
please.
come there after hearing this because of us. Come there because it is a fun place to be.
It's a great place to be. And Jen and Frank are wonderful hosts on the Discord. So come
The
join
fact
us.
that three strangers would come on and do a podcast, something totally out of their comfort zone for two people that have provided us great entertainment for a number of years now, I think is a testament enough to give Dillo's Diz a shot. And it's full of a bunch of great people, and they're the absolute best in the world. So join up. Maybe one day you can host your own podcast too, with their own podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Or
it.
you
Cut.
could be a guest. You could be a
Cut.
guest host on it. But until
Cut,
next
like-
time.
How do we usually
hour
end
ago.
this? Oh, the deuces thing, right? Is
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
What's for yeah?
I don't know.
He was Frank.
Deuces.
She was Jen. Deuces.
Bye.
The Dillo's Diz podcast is hosted by Frank Cardillo and Jen Cardillo Snyder. Music produced by Matt Harvey. Logos and video production courtesy of Snidillo Studios. Dillo's Diz Resort is our Patreon with tiers starting as low as $1 per month. You can visit dillosdizresort.com to learn more. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, X Twitter, and Facebook at Dillo's Diz. Check us out on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/DillosDiz. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there. We also have merch available on TeePublic and Etsy. For all this and more, visit our one-stop shop, dillosdiz.com. Dillo's Diz Podcast 2024.